Hello, my name is Amanda Thompson, and today, for the last time, I will tell you about a culture that I think people need to take a stand against. There are literally millions of cultures around the world, some of them good and some of them not so good. And the one that I chose is Iraqi women and how they're treated and the customs that they're made to live by. It's significant to me because I think equality is one of the most important things that this world needs. Men and women should be able to do the same activities no matter what. There are obviously jobs out there that men can only do because of the physical requirements or whatever reasons. But in the end, everyone is equal and should be treated that way. I feel that I'm qualified to discuss this because in the military, when I deployed to Iraq last year, I had to get cultural training, and I didn't really know what that was or why I had to get it because I'm going to another country. I'm not going to be, I'm going there to do my job, not, to go around and meet the people. But I learned that the reason we did it is that so when we go over there that we don't do things or say things that will offend them. And it helped me prepare for deployment, and I really learned a lot. Now, can you imagine what it'd be like to go to a foreign country, not knowing anything or how their customs are or what they're like, and, having to be careful of what you say or what you do? It was very nerve-wracking. Some of the Iraqi men over there would stare at me, and it kind of in disgust, and it kind of felt like, they were questioning why I was over there and what I was doing, and that I didn't deserve to be there, and that I shouldn't be there. I shouldn't be in the military, period. And if you look over there, obviously that was very difficult for me. Now, if you look over there, you'll see a lot of the Iraqi women wearing a head wrap called a hijab or hijab. Now, in almost unbearable temperatures, and trust me, I know, because I thought I was going to die when I was over there. It was hot, I couldn't stand it. I cannot imagine not being able to take off my head covering because of the temperature. And, of course I wear cover, when I'm outside being in the military, but it's, I have the right to take it off when it's hot or when I'm inside, and I just can't imagine having to wear it. Most of the women over there, they cannot do certain jobs like drive a bus or a taxi or play sports or sing or dance. That's men's jobs, they can't do them. I mean, talk about having limits. Through my research, I read about women over there who would take jobs that men normally had during the Iraq and the Iran war. And the jobs that they had, so say if they were a doctor, they had to be a pediatrician or a gynecologist or an OB. And the reason for that is because they could only treat women and children, no men. And also, 1/3 of their pay was taken to go towards military, efforts. And that seems, that's a lot. And I understand that, of course, the need for, the military to support them and all that. But 1/3 of their pay, I'm sure that only applies to women and not men. It seems to me that women over there is kind of like women were over here back in the 50s when, the woman, they had the picture of the woman who cleaned and cooked, and, that's what they did. They didn't have jobs to stay at home. They were just, stay-at-home wives and mothers. And, of course, over years that changed, and for them, that's kind of how it is for them now, except it's more hostile, and they can be beaten, or, beaten, threatened, or killed for that, for disobeying. Many different things and customs over there force the woman to, obey these things and live their lives. And I'm going to explain some of the most common things that should be changed. The first thing I feel should be changed is how the women have to dress. The women all over there are told to wear head coverings called the hijabs, and the clothing that, they can't show their skin off. Their legs, their arms, they can't show any. And Islamic Sharia law traditionally subordinates women to men, so of course the men will use this to their advantage to govern what they can and cannot do. Women over there have been threatened on what they need to wear and have been punished for not obeying it and doing what they should. I've also read through research that the women over there are afraid to go outside and not, the people who want to change have been threatened and, told not to wear, or, are afraid to go outside because they're afraid that, they're going to get targeted and, beaten or killed from that. These women are being forced into customs that a lot of them don't want to be a part of. I think, and I won't say all of them because a lot of them, I'm sure, are accustomed to this, and this is what they do every day, and they're used to it. But I'm sure that there are women who want to change and want to have the freedom to change, and those who don't, that's great. That's how their lifestyle is, their customs are. That's how they should live their life if they want to. But they should have the option to do that. I learned that the women over there, the outfit they wear is known as the black abaya, and what it is a completely black, well, not completely black, it can be colors and have designs on it, but completely covers them from head to toe. Of course, the top is called the hijab, and then they wear a long, dark colored skirt that goes down to their toes. So of course they're covered from head to toe. Through my research, I found out that a lot of Iraqi women said that they felt free without just wearing the hijab. Like, they would go to work, wear it outside, they'd get to work, they would take it off, and then they just felt a sense of freedom. And that to me screams that maybe one little change can make a difference, and that, they need to change that. Women are not only told what they can and cannot wear, but what jobs they can have. We over here, I think people who have the ability to choose what career they want take that for granted. If you get an education and want to become a doctor, you have that choice. If you want to be a singer, you have that choice too. And that's not how it is for them. Like I mentioned earlier, they're not allowed to play sports, drive a bus or a taxi, or sing and dance. And I look at these jobs and I wondered, well, why those jobs? What makes them significant? And through my research, I found a few reasons. The first one is because some Iraqi men think that the women were born to stay at home, to cook and to clean, to be a housewife, to not go outside. And the second one was because men think that it is inappropriate for a woman to work amongst men with anyone but relatives. So they can work with men as long as they're relatives. Now, you look at those kind of jobs and you're like, well, okay, it's, a construction worker. Obviously, more men than women, so of course, that's not right. And if a woman is outside, she has to be covered because it's, flirting or, showing off if she shows skin. So of course, that's why they're told to wear be completely covered. This reasoning explains a lot to me, and I kind of get it. But it's still wrong, and it should be changed. I read about a woman who was fired from her job because the boss was being threatened because she worked there and she was a woman. So of course he fired her, no pension, didn't give a reason, she was just fired. I can't imagine having to be fired for doing a great job at work, but someone didn't like that I worked there, so I was fired. That is wrong to me. And another thing, education. They're not allowed to be educated, and for the women who are educated, they're not allowed to teach an uneducated woman. They have, unallowed. So how could you get good jobs anyway if you can't have an education? So even if you could find a job, you don't have an education, so that gives them a reason to not hire you. You don't have an education, I don't want you on my team. So unless you want to be a stay-at-home wife or mother, you have no liberties, no job, and eventually, if you do find a job, you'll just be a threat and you'll be fired. And I hope that you can see with the reasoning that I gave why this culture is wrong and should be changed. Imagine your life if you were made to feel insignificant amongst another gender, to be told what you can and cannot do, and be punished severely for it. People should fight for these women and give them a chance. Change happens. It takes one person, and it goes down. It takes one person to change the world, and everyone else follows. No one should be afraid to be on the streets because of fear of death or being beaten. And now I'm going to finish with a quote that I think is very appropriate and I love. Be the change you want to see in the world. Thank you.